When did you realize your best friend wasn't really your friend? When I opened a drawer in her house and recognized my jewelry. Trinkets. I looked at it all. Took back my mother's ring. And left. 3 years this person stole from me. I was her only friend. I'll never understand it. When I realized that there is not necessarily a correlation between oldest friend and best friend. My whole friend group. They never really talked to me. Unless they needed something like homework and etc. Took a while to realize. Too long even. But. As much as it hurts. When I realized how ashamed she made me feel about myself. Looking back. I think she projected her insecurities onto me because it is what her family did to her. When I decided to be more open about who I was and what I believed in, she ghosted me. When I asked her to be my maid of honor. And she left the care package I made for her when she was sick in the hospital a few weeks back on my doorstep in a box and stopped returning my texts and calls. She reached out a couple years later. And I asked why she ended the friendship the way she did. And her response was she was just being a dick. We're still not friends. When I received screenshots of a post in a social media group bashing me and saying truly horrible things. The person who sent them was a random stranger who said they looked on my then best friend's social media account and figured the post and comments had to be about me since she called me her best friend on a lot of posts. She said that she thought I should know what she was saying about me because they were so bad, and if they weren't actually about me then she was sorry for sending them. I thanked her and promised to keep her anonymity so the girl wouldn't get kicked out of the group. Then I sent screenshots to my friend and said this friendship is over. When he spent 15 minutes pressuring me to take shots after I was diagnosed with liver disease. I had this really close friend growing up. When we got to high school he started ignoring me. It started from small things. Like not inviting me when the boys would go out and chill. Then towards the end of high school I started going through some real shit. Instead of being like a friend and talking to me about it. He totally distanced himself from me. Even heard about how he would talk shit behind my back. We'll never know what happened. When she started cancelling plans for silly reasons. Not replying to my messages. However, whenever we hung out she was always on her phone. When they ghosted me as best man in my wedding. They've never reached out since. I found a new best friend that day. When they tried their absolute best to get my GF to break up with me. When he tried to date my sister. We were freshmen in college and she was still in middle school. Plus I knew he was verbally abusive, so I said hell to the FCK no. Told him to forget about me and my family. I even called his mother to let her know what her pervy ass son was up to. I nuked that bridge. When I walked in on him f-king my GF. I do hope you left them both. When I realized that I was a worse person when I was around him. He was very good at convincing you to do really shitty things, and I let it go way too far before I realized that. Luckily I did eventually and completely cut him out of my life. I was the one who maintained contact for years. She contacted me only when she needed something from me, money, lift, emotional support, etc. and for the drama with her boyfriends, and she loves drama. I stopped talking to her for 4 years when she suddenly emailed me explaining she was forced to drop our friendship because of her boyfriend jealousy. It's not her fault yada yada, and she wanted to talk to me again. Same old story. I deleted her email and moved on with my life. I stopped doing drugs. Makes you begin to see the company you keep in a fresh light. When he blacked out and tried to murder me in my sleep. Then 5 years later when I forgave him. He attacked and robbed me in front of my house after giving me a ride home. Fool me once. When she started trying to make me stop talking to all of my other friends because she didn't have any other friends and thought I had to be isolated too. One day after 13 years of friendship he just blocked me everywhere and refused to tell me why. Then he began to indirectly insult me in online groups we both were in. Didn't say my name. But it was obvious he meant me. I honestly should have broken that friendship off long ago. He used to really bully me back in school. After school things got better though and I thought he changed. To this day I have no idea what happened there. If there was just a misunderstanding or I did something wrong I didn't realize. Doesn't matter since after it he showed his true colors. When I found a list of their friends and there was a question mark next to my name. We had a fight. And didn't speak for a week. Then they threatened me over something incredibly stupid. I was after we stopped being friends that I realized they were never really a friend to me. Our mutual friends were asking me if I was okay. And I was. I wondered why I was. And it was because the relationship with the ex-friend was all one-sided. I was there for them whenever they needed. I always did something for their birthday. And I always gave them money when they needed it. I can't recall a time when they did anything for me. When he left me at 3 AM while I was having psychotic break to go FCK the girl who gave him chlamydia. It this time was after she already gave him the clam. He really wasn't great with judgment. When she called me a SLT after I got my boyfriend and proceeded to tell me I was going to hell. The moment they got a girlfriend. I don't know why people get so egotistical after that. When he got arrested for possession of child pornography and trying to solicit a minor. When he confessed his love for my girlfriend shortly after we broke up. I had been dating her for 3 years and he was my roommate for 3 years. When his batteries died. When I realized he had all the traits of a narcissistic manipulative sociopath. Had to cut that F-car off even though it hurt. There was a lot of little arguments and stuff but the breaking point was New Year's night years back. My wife and I was at a small New Year's Eve party at his place with his wife. His brother with his girlfriend and another friend with his girlfriend was there and we all was having fun. The plan was for us to stay the night and we confirmed this beforehand. Both my wife and I got drunk. Come about 1 AM we are told there isn't enough room and we have to leave. We got kicked out onto the street both drunk. We lived in the next town over. Once we sobered up I basically told him off and we haven't spoke since. He was my best friend since middle school. When his wife caught him about to cheat. He said he'd work to fix his marriage. Ended up walking out on his wife. 3 years old and newborn. He came to me expecting me to back him up and tell him he was right to be rid of them. But I chewed him out instead. He then came up with some bullshit about her being controlling from the start of their relationship. Then why get married and have kids? He left their home and started seeing some other women. He still texts me sometimes about sports or something. But I can't stand deadbeat dads. He's refused to get a divorce saying he doesn't know what to do. You left the family home 18 months ago G. You know you're not fixing this. So man the FCK up and get a divorce so you can all move on. I woke up with him sucking my cock. Later it became obvious that he had done it other times when I would get blackout drunk. When she said it's exhausting being friends with a disabled person. When, at the age of 16, I found out I was pregnant and told her in confidence. Being very young and less than 12 weeks pregnant I didn't want others to know yet. A couple of weeks later someone said they had heard I was pregnant. She had told them. I didn't speak to her for a year for abusing my trust. A year later we bumped into each other, with baby in tow, and we stopped and chatted. Both agreed we missed each other. She then said it was a stupid reason we fell out anyway. That was the end of that friendship and haven't seen or spoken to her since. This was 20 years ago. I don't feel I over-exaggerated. If you can't trust your best friend with a huge secret then they don't deserve to be your friend. He used to tell long stories about other people all the time. Like every time we hung out at some point he was dishing out gossip about other people we knew. It was super interesting because he somehow knew everything that was going on about everything. I thought I was getting privileged information from a really good friend. Until I started realizing he was telling other people about my stuff the same exact way. When she invited all our mutual friends to her birthday party. But not me. And she made sure everyone knew I wasn't invited. My dad got me a really nice bike. My dad never bought me anything, so it wasn't just a nice bike to me. It went missing, so I spent a couple days looking for it. I found it in a creek near my house. It had been thrown off the bridge and the front tire and fork was bent. I went over to my best friend's house to tell him what happened. His older brother made him tell me that it was my friend who had thrown the bike in the creek. I was stunned. I asked him why and he said that bike was too good for you. You don't deserve it. Loaned him my car. He brought it back with an outside mirror missing. Said someone knocked it off while it was parked. Okay. He offered to pay for the repair. Had it repaired. But he kept putting off payment. Asked to borrow his car. He refused. I never let people borrow my car. Go FCK yourself. Tim. When he married my ex behind my back. When she was sat in my kitchen. At my table drinking coffee with me and she openly started dissing one of her other friends and telling me all about how her and another friend of hers get together to talk trash about this other friend. So that's when I realized she wasn't a very good friend. We no longer speak after a major fallout after I started distancing myself from her. When I realized that he didn't want to be with me just for my company, but for what I could do for him. When she answered my first boyfriend's house phone and told me he didn't want to speak to me anymore. We were 14. When I realized how pretty her eyes were, it was a quick slide into oh my god, I'm gay for her. And then the miraculous feeling of her reciprocating. 1 year strong. When Elle realized she only used me for money and to feed her ego, she's a narcissist. When she made some rather derogatory comments about immigrants and being bilingual. At the time, I was married to an immigrant. And we were raising our child to be bilingual. I didn't say anything to her about it. And it was said in such a passing manner that she may not even have realized what she had said. I realized she grew up to be so genuinely tacky. Our friendship just kinda faded out from there. When she made fun of me in front of everyone just to get a boy's attention. I found out they were racist and just a really nasty person overall. I didn't want that sort of influence in my life. I had an online friend, let's call her Cloudy. On the morning on the 26th of June, 2018, I read my text messages. But Cloudy was screaming and yelling at me. I didn't think much of it, so I unfriended her and blocked her. On the 27th of June, I knew she was Satan. I knew it. I was invited into a group chat and the moment I read the first insult, my heart sank. Cloudy and my friends bullied me so much. And Cloudy said one thing. One thing that will stay with me forever. She keeps talking to us like we're her friends. And we care about her. Lol. It stuck with me. She broke my heart. She burned it. She stomped on it. She ran over it. She did everything to upset me. To the point where I had enough. I made a noose. An envelope. A ladder. And a ceiling fan. I hung myself. But it didn't work. Thank FCK it didn't work. FCK that bitch. When she told me she hoped I had a miscarriage with the baby I was trying to have with my husband because she had had an abortion and was envious. I understand why she would feel that way and we have worked on getting her help. I still have love for her. But it put an irreparable crack in our relationship.